We've talked about a lot of different types of fish on this channel. We've talked about the best fish, the most popular fish, fish that get way bigger than you may expect, and even the easiest or meanest fish in the hobby. But there's something I haven't talked about in a while, which is what I like to call throwaway fish. These are fish that people look at as expendable. They're just fish to have because they're cool, cheap, readily available, and if they die, it's no big deal. I mean, I only paid a few bucks, so who cares? Obviously on this channel, we believe all fish have value and should be treated the same regardless if they cost $2 or $200 a piece. So here is a list of what I believe people look at as throwaway fish. How many times have you been to a big box pet store or even one of your local mom and pop stores and seen Cardinal or Neon Tetras for sale for $1 a piece? I realize most of the time it's going to be neons because they're cheaper anyway, but this is something that I've seen more times than I can count. Even more common than the $1 per gallon sale. Cardinal and Neon Tetras are very similar fish in that they're both very small, they're both red and blue, and look absolutely amazing in community tanks. The problem is they're in almost every fish store, they're cheap, and a lot of times people buy them in groups, so if they lose one or two, they might not even notice. I'll give you an example from my own personal fish keeping experience. My daughter had a 5-gallon aquarium on her dresser like 20 years ago. I set the tank up for her because she always loved fish, and I was super proud of her for how she took care of it at only 5 years old. Yeah, I had to remind her that the tank needed to be cleaned, but she wouldn't argue. She'd just do what needed to be done. I got her like 10 Cardinal Tetras for that tank. Not because they were cheap, but because that's what she picked out. And I said, hey, that's perfect because they'll fit nicely in a tank this small. Well, fast forward like 4 years, and believe it or not, most of those fish were still alive, but we were moving the dresser that the tank was on, and when I pulled it out from behind the wall, there was a Cardinal Tetra stuck to the back panel of the dresser. Yes, even me, the person that has always been obsessed with aquariums, didn't realize that one of these fish were missing. Cardinal and Neon Tetras are amazing little fish, and in my opinion, fish stores should stop selling them as cheap as feeders and treat them with respect. I know you're sitting there predicting what fish are gonna be on this list, and I bet you didn't think clown loaches were gonna show up. It's easy to see why clown loaches are as popular as they are. The bright colors with thick black bars stands out from across the room, and they're one of the few fish that looks exactly the same full grown as they do when they're babies. The problem is tons of fish keepers buy them not knowing how massive they get. This is something that's actually striking to see if you haven't seen them full grown because you're so used to seeing them as babies when they blend right in with cory cats. I put the blame for this not only on the fish keepers, but also the sellers, because it happens all the time. Fish keepers will be at the store picking out fish and the employee says, well, you're gonna need some bottom feeders, so you've got cory cats, bristlenose plecos, ottos, clown loaches. They're just part of the conversation as if they're just like all of those other small fish, but they're not. They get absolutely massive, over a foot long. Like I said earlier, it'll knock you back if you haven't seen them full grown. You'll be like, what? Wait, those are clown loaches? No, I've only seen them like this big. They're not fast growers, but they'll get there. And when they do, they're amazing. These are not throwaway fish. Do right by them. And I know how crazy it sounds, but put them in a 125-gallon tank. Trust me. Yeah, I know you saw this one coming, but what do you want me to do? You want me to not include betas on this list? Betas are fish you'll see in absolutely every situation imaginable, from being in a vase on a bookshelf, liquor bottles in college dorms, and yes, the one we talk about all the time, self-obsessed brides that insist on having little globe centerpieces on the reception tables at their wedding. And let me tell you something, you really want to be pissed off? You should see the way they're kept at fish distributors. I've been to multiple fish distributors and they pretty much all do this, so I'm not calling anyone out specifically, but I wish they'd do it differently. Lisa and I used to buy from a distributor in Northern Virginia when we had our shop, and we'd go there and hand select fish. every time we were there, we'd see a pile of betas. Wait a minute, how could they be in a pile? Well, I'll tell you how. When the farms pack these fish up, they put them in tiny bags. They're almost like the size of a tea bag. It's absolutely horrible to see. Anybody that sees it is like, oh no. Well, the problem is a lot of times the distributors will get these fish from the farms that way, and they'll just keep them that way until they sell to customers. They'll just put them in a big pile, and when stores order them, they'll just pick from it. And sometimes they could be that way for weeks. No wonder that distributor went out of business. But wait, we did too, so you can't really say that. Oh, and here's another one, the Aquatic Experience 2018 in New Jersey. There was a vendor there giving away betas, and when the show was over, they had hundreds of them left. What do you think they did with them? Well, they were like, ain't nobody got time to mess around with all them fish, just leave them. They literally threw them away. Thankfully, my friend Bob Steenfont was there, saw all of that, and took care of them. And the Aquatic Experience is also now out of business. So I guess the lesson learned is, you want to stay in business? Treat betas with respect. Stop throwing them away. Oh, and listen, please, come on, listen. If you take the time to put in the comment section, it's beta, not beta, I'm gonna say bad words to you. I just pretty much guaranteed like 20 of those comments. Yep, here's another one that is a surprise to no one. Common plecos, algae eaters, suckerfish, fish that'll go behind all the other fish and eat their poop, whatever you want to call them, this is without a doubt one of the most abused fish in the hobby for all the reasons I just mentioned. First of all, they're not algae eaters. Yeah, they'll graze on algae if there's nothing else, but to think that's all they eat would be like saying all I eat is kale and avocados. Hey, look at me. Obviously, that's not true. Do I look like a hippie to you? I'm really not offended by them being called suckerfish, but I'm definitely offended when I hear people say they eat poop. Listen, I know you've probably seen your pleco go over a piece of fish poop and pick it up like he wants to eat it and thought, he's fine. He's not. The only reason he's doing that is because he doesn't have anything else to eat, and he's desperate. I remember seeing an interview with the legend Marcus Luttrell, you know, the guy that the movie Lone Survivor was made about. He was being interviewed by Joe Rogan talking about how he was out there so long, all shot up and broken with no food or water, and he was so desperate that he drank his own urine. That's what your common pleco's doing if he goes through and picks up a piece of poop. They are not workers, they're not poop eaters, and they need to be fed. Oh, and Marcus Luttrell, you're the baddest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Oh, Angelfish. I wasn't expecting to see this one on the list. Well, I have my reasons. My first reason is, well, I love angels, so I'm a bit biased. But my second reason is you'll see this fish in all different colors and sizes in every pet store in the world. Why? Well, just look at them. Their shape is unlike any other fish in the hobby. They're relatively easy to keep and they stand out from across the room. These are reasons that are a blessing and a curse because they end up in a lot of starter kit 5 and 10 gallon tanks. Don't believe me? Well, just go on TikTok. I did a few videos a while back reacting to horrible fish keeping videos on TikTok, and I gotta tell you, it was a lot of fun. I could have done nothing but react videos for the rest of my career on YouTube, but to be honest, my career would have been over pretty quick because I'd have been so stressed out from what I saw. There was more than one video of people keeping angelfish in a 10 gallon, and one of them even had them with goldfish and was like, oh, look how happy and healthy he is. It's an easy mistake to make because you just set up your first tank and you're like, I'll take one of those, 2 of those, and oh, those are pretty, I'll take 2 of those. And you have no clue these fish actually get to be a pretty good size in the right situation. The right situation is a 55 gallon or larger. Trust me on this one. I know they can survive in something smaller, but if you put them in a 55 or larger, you're gonna see them reach their full potential. And trust me, you will be so glad you did. This This is one that usually gets people pretty angry with me, but please understand, this is just my opinion. If you like these fish, that's totally fine. I won't cancel you. Glowfish are genetically modified fish that you either love or hate, but it can't be argued that they were created for one thing and one thing only, and that's to appeal to kids. Well, hold on now. Are you saying you don't want kids entering into this hobby? No, I'm not saying that at all. I want as many kids as possible, but not the way Glowfish does. We want kids to see an aquarium that's full of beautiful fish and plants and become interested in the nature aspect of it and want to get involved. This would mean the parents say, okay, listen, you want to get something like this, you need to learn how to do it, learn how to take care of them, and if you're good, we'll get you one. That's the right way to do it. But when a 9-year-old is walking through PetSmart because dad had to pick up dog food and sees Glowfish, they're mesmerized and they'll be like, Daddy, I want a Glowfish. This is the kind of thing that'll cause that 9-year-old to get an aquarium on impulse. We all know how that works out for adults. How do you think it's going to be for a young child? Parents, do the right thing. Don't give in to little Veruca's demands. Make her learn and earn that fish tank. Don't get it just because she wants it. But other than that, I actually think Glowfish are pretty cool. I'm not going to pitch a fit because they're genetically modified and all that kind of stuff. I got enough battles in my life. Here's another one that might be a surprise to you, but in all honesty, it shouldn't be. It's on the list for pretty much all the same reasons as the other fish, with a twist. This is another fish that when someone's going to buy fish for their first tank, they see it and say, well, yeah, I mean, I gotta have one of those, having no idea that just like clown loaches, they get absolutely massive. They're like, yeah, they're cute, they're sharks, so that's cool, and they're only like $6. Get them in the bag. The second reason is just like Glowfish, but it has to do with the name. Think about it. 9-year-old Veruca is walking through the pet store and sees a shark. Daddy, I want a shark, and I want it now. And just like in the movie, the spineless father will say, yes, honey. Mr. Wonka, how much for the shark? Name your price. I don't know why some idiot named these fish sharks. Maybe there's some kind of science-y mumbo-jumbo that I don't understand, but this was a huge mistake. Bala sharks aren't great whites, but they get huge. Don't get one for little Veruca's 10-gallon tank. You might just find it stuck to the back of her dresser. Goldfish are given away at carnival games, and I've even seen them as prizes in elementary school field days. What's with some people all of a sudden pronouncing that word elementary? Have you seen that? Elementary. After they're done having ping pong balls thrown at their heads, they're brought home and put into a 3-gallon fish bowl, because where else am I supposed to put this thing? And listen, don't waste your energy typing into the comment section, I have my goldfish in a 3-gallon bowl and he's perfectly healthy and perfectly fine. He's not. You're an idiot. And if you're feeding goldfish to your monster fish, you're doing that to compensate for the fact that you have a small. What else do I need to say that hasn't been said a million times on this channel? Don't put them in bowls, don't give them away as prizes, and I'm sorry you have a thimble size. So there you go. Hopefully I haven't infuriated you all so much. And for the ones that aren't infuriated, did you like our list? Do you want to see 3 more fish that are treated like throwaway fish? Well, click the join button down below, become a member. You're going to get extra bonus footage from all of our Sunday videos. And listen, if you're looking for a great way to support our channel by doing something that you're already going to do anyway, click the link in the description to our website, keepfishkeeping.com. We've got everything you need for your aquarium. Lisa and I will ship it out to you right away. We ship very fast and we do our best to make absolutely everyone happy. We got everything you need, so you might as well go over there, including these shirts. Yeah, these shirts are available right now. Hoodies too, so you don't want to miss out on that. Thank you so much. I don't want to ramble too much. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next week.